Indiana was lights out, 12 of 22 from deep and hitting contested 30-footers. Not really much you could do about it. So I like the game plan there of letting them stew in it a little bit, like Marilyn told us, so that they can kind of get that first taste of a loss, get it in the mouth. You want to get it out and not have it there again.
So we're at midcourt, about ready to go. That's Lexi Jackson jumping it up for UNC Wilmington. She was the first to touch, but it goes to North Carolina and Deja Kelly. Quick pass to Eva Hodgson. They'll run the offense. There's Kennedy Todd-Williams. Back to Hodgson, using a high screen. Todd-Williams, who's really caught fire from distance. Here she is with her first of the night, and it's in.
You were saying, really has improved her game from deep. From her freshman year to where she is now as a junior, a completely different player. She's slowly bringing that entire package together, though.
44% from three-point range entering tonight. North Carolina on the board first. Seahawks try it down low. Lexi Jackson sails it over, and it's back to the Tar Heels.
And we talked with Coach Martin for UNCW prior to this game. Talked about what are you looking for from your team? So many injuries. How do you get players to buy in? How do you improve? And she said, for us, it's not necessarily the result when you get down on the offensive side of the court, but we want to get a good look. The shots will fall eventually. We want to make sure everybody is in the right spot, where they're supposed to be, when they're supposed to be. And on the first possession, they got the ball down on the block, and they got a good look.
Brittany Range has been thrust into this point guard position for UNC Wilmington. Goes underneath. They kick it back out, and an open three for Carrie Gross goes in. The graduate transfer from Xavier in her second season with the Seahawks.
They got it down low to Jackson. Mismatch. Kick it out to the open shooter. Really easy there for Carolina. If it's going to be that easy for Poole and the Carolina Bigs, it is going to be a really tough game here for UNCW.
Anya Poole with her first basket of the night. Went 2 for 3 from the field, 4 points, 5 rebounds in the loss to Indiana. Range outside, Gross swings it all the way over. There's a long 2 from the baseline that shakes out. Offensive board, a second chance, not there for the Seahawks.
Nice job to keep that alive by Jackson. Got to finish those close ones.
Alyssa Ustby goes coast to coast and has it knocked away. Now here's the interim head coach, Tina Martin, for UNC Wilmington. A long track record, over 30 years in the coaching business. Spent a long time as a head coach at Delaware. Led the Blue Hens to the NCAA tournament, trying to make that for the first time with UNC Wilmington.
I like the honesty that she had with us when we spoke with her. She said, I'm not going to lie to you. It has been a challenge with the way things have gone this season, trying to change the culture to have 3 players that you expect to be starters go down right away. That really is going to put you behind the 8 ball, but she had so many good things to say about this roster and the girls that are out there playing for her.
Jade Gamble ties it up with the lay-in. Sophomore for UNCW. She actually made her collegiate debut early in the season at Cameron Indoor Stadium against Duke last year. Open look from 3, and Deja Kelly cashes in.
Shot hasn't fallen this season for Deja like it did the first 2 years. And I don't think that's anything to be concerned about. Actually, Courtney Banghart said the day that I worry about Deja scoring is the day that we've got bigger problems. It'll start to fall, and it looked real nice rotation off the fingers there.
There's Range a catch and shoot. It clings off. Kelly, the one that comes away with it. Penetrating all on her own, and then kicks back out. Hodgson goes underneath. Here's Alyssa Ustby. Pull up, and that drops in.
I'm a little bit surprised out of the gate, UNC Wilmington playing man-to-man. And when we talked with Coach Martin, she said if we do that, we have to stay in front of our player, which is going to be a tough task against a team the caliber of Carolina. So I expected, and I think Carolina expected, a lot of zone. That's not what they've gotten so far.
Gamble a crossover. Wow, what a basket.
Really nice take from Gamble right there. And a sophomore playing out of position, but a player that they're really high on, though.
UNC Wilmington within a bucket early here in the first quarter. Todd-Williams fakes left, drives right. Offensive rebound, put back unsuccessful. Lexi Jackson making her presence known underneath for UNCW.
Good help side defense there. It looked like it was Brittany Range who came over, got the initial block.
Range goes underneath, Gross again. Can't put it in off the window. Ustby, a big rebound, looking ahead. Kelly misses the three. And Ustby with a foot out of bounds as she tried to save it. It'll go back to UNCW.
Plenty of time there for Deja. Would have liked to have seen her take a dribble and get those feet set because she was moving. That's why that ball sailed off to the right and was an air ball.
Range brings it across midcourt. Played point guard for this team for the first time against Virginia. Their last game, a loss at the hands of the Cavaliers. Coach Martin said that's the first time she played point guard in her life. Goes underneath. Micah Hoggett puts it off the back of the iron, and the board and the putback is there. Lexi Jackson cleans it up and brings it back within one. Pass back from Hodgson. Ustby out to Todd-Williams, hesitates. Puts it short off the front side of the rim.
First 5+ minutes, the Seahawks have done a really good job of crashing on the backboards, not giving Carolina many second chance points, and they've actually out-rebounded the Tar Heels so far.
Seahawks got the switch, but pass is overthrown and out of bounds. It'll be Tar Heels basketball. A bit of a surprising start. Just a 1-point lead for the number 8 North Carolina Tar Heels.
Carolina
in the sports history.
10 national championships, one for each finger in those 42 years. A goat amongst goats at Carolina.
No doubt about it. Let's go down to Marilyn Payne.
Courtney Banghart right now incredibly frustrated with two things: low post touches by North Carolina's offense and everything on defense. She said, we just need more. I told you to trap ball screens. We're not doing that. Eva Hodgson adding, there's no reason they should be in this with us right now. Dig in.
Deja Kelly drives. Thanks, Maryland, for that. On the outskirts of the huddle during the timeout for Courtney Banghart. Obviously, this is something that, with a team that is struggling in the injuries department as UNC Wilmington is, safe to say, Kyle, we assumed North Carolina would come in here and be relatively dominant from the start.
Between the injuries and the talent gap that you have in the two rosters, that's what you expect, but that's why they also have to go out there and play the game, because UNCW has come out and they've played harder. They've wanted it more, and they've found a way to get the advantage on the backboards, and that's what Courtney is so upset about.
1 for 2 in the trip for Deja Kelly, 76% from the line this season. She leads North Carolina by miles for most free throws attempted this season. Her 50 entering today, more than double the 24 of Kennedy Todd-Williams.
Destiny Adams as well as Tiani Key, both in for Carolina, gives them a little bit more height.
Adams with a hand on it, maybe a foot as well. Kicked ball violation, keeps it with the Seahawks.
Both players that can play the 3, 4, or 5, really versatile, and that's what Courtney has recruited since she got to Carolina. Is she wants bigs, but she wants bigs that aren't stuck down in the paint. Show that you can go and not only score outside of the paint, but also guard outside of the paint.
Gross, after a dribble, falling away, puts it off back iron, and it's boarded by Tiani Key. Kelly with a full head of steam. Ustby spins and goes left and banks it in.
I like that aggressiveness right there. Realize you're in a man defense. You've got a size advantage. Go right after him.
Here's Range. Surveying from the perimeter, lofts it underneath. Gamble has to get out of trouble, puts it up from short distance. Defensive rebound, a missed layup by Kelly, but Ustby there on the follow.
Tar Heels aren't going to be happy about the missed layup, but the touch from Kennedy Todd-Williams to get that just over the fingertips of the defender.
North Carolina just 2 of its last 9 from the field. But ahead by 6. And a chance for a couple of substitutions. Hodgson back in for North Carolina and into the contest for the first time, the freshman Paulina Paris.
You've seen Courtney go to her bench, some depth that she didn't have last year. Even though a couple of these players were on the roster, Key had an injury, Adams not quite ready to be out there in big-time minutes, and Paris, the true freshman on the team, all three of them this year, key contributors.
Seahawks in front of the North Carolina bench. Campbell after the high screen. Shifty gets to the baseline, has it knocked away briefly, and she was out of bounds at the end line.
That was really, really good defense from Carolina, and it started up top with the freshman Paulina Paris hounding around. They finally switch after a screen, good communication, and they get the small gamble trapped down there with the big players on the baseline. You know, when we talked with Courtney, I asked her specifically about Paulina. A true freshman, game one, was injected into the lineup, and she said one of the things that she loves so much about her is that she's not a player that she has to coach confidence. She doesn't come in too low or too high. She just has the right mentality, does the right things every single day, which allows her to get out on the court and perform.
Some good hands-on display from Destiny Adams to get the rebound for North Carolina. It was knocked away. Hodgson, some trouble getting it in, 5 seconds.
You got to have a release, somebody that can come back, drop back, pass half court if you have to, have that internal clock. You get to 4, know that your player is going to be there. Nothing for Carolina. That's something they'll work on.
Gross out for Gamble, one-handed pass. Range from the corner, shows off her range. Paris catches at the perimeter and is fouled.
Deep ball keeping UNCW in it right here. Not bad defense. Got to close out maybe a little bit earlier, but that's the kind of play that I think Courtney looked at after the Indiana game and said, hey, you got to hand up. You contested it. If somebody's going to make a shot, they're going to make a shot.
North Carolina goes down low. Key has it smacked away. Quickly get it in, and it's poked away and stolen. Brittany Range again. And now UNC Wilmington will reset. Gross against Todd-Williams. Crosses, drives, gets tangled up. It's shared possession. And a jump ball keeps it with the Seahawks.
A lot of the talk this year for Kennedy Todd-Williams has been the improvement in shooting, especially from distance. But her abilities on the defensive side, the versatility because of the length and the wingspan that she has. It's one of those players that I think every coach would like to have because they can plug in 1 through 4 for you in the lineup.
And a foot out of bounds for Range, gives it back to North Carolina.
I think the Tar Heels got the message after that timeout on defense. Third since that timeout that I've seen, they've played really, really good team defense and have resulted in turnovers.
Hodgson operating the offense. High post, Key waves it, goes against Jackson, who swats it away. Paris puts it off the side. Jackson briefly with the rebound and is fouled. That will go against Kennedy Todd-Williams and give it back to UNC Wilmington.
Been really impressed with Jackson so far in this game. 5 rebounds for the Seahawks and has done a really good job because they're so limited on the block of playing good defense but staying away from committing the foul.
Both teams working on a 2+ minute scoring drought. Gamble with the step back, lofts it into the corner. Range to Gross. Out for an open look from 3, but it was rejected. Destiny Adams got fingertips on it. Mengale Irma Leva Shute. And now Hodgson is fouled, trying to penetrate from the corner.
got just a little bit of a step on the baseline. That's why she got the call there. But how about the other end of the court? I talked about the bigs for Carolina having to come out and defend the perimeter. You saw earlier in the possession Adams do that and then switching off to get that block there.
Inbound goes to Todd-Williams. Adams out. KTW again. Her second make from deep, and North Carolina at the conclusion of the first quarter leads it by 6 here at Carmichael Arena.
Of her offense getting to the basket, the mid-range, that much easier for her.
Marilyn, what do you have?
As you might expect, Tina Martin emphasizing one thing defensively. We've got to get a hand up on Kennedy Todd-Williams. She's hit a couple threes already, and she's the difference in this game. But Martin telling her team overall, not a bad job. Not a bad job, girls.
Good stuff. Marilyn Payne with us. A bucket for North Carolina coming out to begin the second quarter.
Coming out with a full court zone press here. Something else that Courtney Banghart told us, because they haven't had as much practice time as she would like, in game, they've got to work on some stuff. And press was one of those things that she said, you know, we're going to get some out there and we're going to kind of experiment with it, see how they handle it, because eventually at some point down the road, they're going to need to play it. And you want to not have it be the first time when it's in a postseason.
Irma Levis-Shute out for UNC Wilmington. Evan Miller in for the first time today, the junior out of Charlotte. Here's Miller against Asia Kelly. Moves up to range, who looked like maybe she shuffled her feet, but it's going to be a foul off the ball on the screen.
Fourth turnover against UNCW, and saw that left foot touch and then not come back down before she picked up the pivot foot. Almost like a little hop.
Adams to Hodgson, sets the screen. Drives down to the corner. Kelly didn't have her feet set. And Parrish got around her defender, can't bank it in. Puts up the second, and it is short of the rim.
Really great job by the Seahawks of staying in front of their defender. They had been in the man-to-man defense the entirety of this game.
There's a reach-in foul on Paulina Parrish. Range going down low. Jackson. Back underneath. Hoggett spins, falling away, and it rolls in.
It wasn't bad defense, though, from Adams. She forced her to the middle where she was going to have some help. Just a good finish down low.
First make for Hoggett. She's got 2 points, 3 rebounds so far in this one. Hodgson. Rejected as she tried to go up at the rim. Evan Miller with the block.
I liked everything about that from Hodgson and the Tar Heels, except for trying to go with a layup. Right here, as that player steps in, kick out to the outside. You got a wide open corner three.
So North Carolina triggers it in underneath their own hoop. Kelly goes out. Here's Hodgson, fires away, and it's off back side of the rim. Now Jade Gamble into the front court to run the offense. Driving baseline. Miller off of the deflection, can't hit the three. There's Jackson again for another rebound.
It's her 6th of the game already. 3 of them on the offensive glass.
Miller using a double screen. And overthrows the pass.
The double screen, they're trying to get a switch, right? Get that guard against a big, give yourself the mismatch opportunity. But the problem is the big that switched is Destiny Adams, who can guard 1 through 5.
Deja Kelly hustles across the court. Adams fakes, drives, and spins it through.
Got fouled there. Way to finish through the contact.
Makes it an 8-point game once more. Range into the double team, slips the pass to Miller, who puts it off front side. Adams, after the rebound, a long toss to Hodgson, who lays it in. And a timeout on the floor. Destiny Adams off the defensive glass with the assist. Eva Hodgson, the bucket. North Carolina by 10.
T, got a bunch of them from Holly Springs, so it's got to be really special for her to be able to play here in a place that, you know, Holly Springs, 20 minutes away. I'm sure she watched some games growing up here.
Yeah, she's not too far from home in Wilmington, but with the trip inland, gets to be a little bit closer to home. Easy trip for the family to come watch her play. Seahawks go to the elbow. Some hesitation, a pull up. Micah Hoggett hits the basket.
Talked about the first quarter, how Tina Martin told us, not necessarily shots falling. We just want to make sure we're getting the good look. And I think she's got to be really happy with the looks they've gotten so far in this game.
Let's go back down to Marilyn Payne.
Jade Gamble defending right there, called for the foul, but you not only see her family here, you see what Tina Martin calls as the would-be spark plug leading this UNCW team. It's her assertiveness that Martin is really working with the sophomore on developing. She's not the sixth person off the bench anymore, and she's also teaching her how to be a good and consistent loud leader in the right way.
One of my favorite things was when she told us, I may actually have to tell her to bring it down a little bit because she can get herself too psyched up.
Yeah, when we talked to Coach Martin earlier in the week, she mentioned, you know, okay, she must have known that Jade was going to have a lot of family here, right? I mean, this is one of those things. It's a historic venue, Carmichael Arena, as you alluded to. She probably watched some games here as a youngster. You can get a little too juiced up.
And from what I'm told, I didn't grow up here, but you grow up and you're kind of forced to pick, especially if you're in this area, Holly Springs in the triangle. You got to pick Duke, Carolina, or State.
Paris, following the steal, takes it herself and lays it in for 2 more North Carolina points.
Nice little recovery to take that off of the hip.
Back to a 10-point Tar Heels lead.
Full court press again from Carolina. Haven't seen him trap that ball, though, and I think that's what Courtney is looking for, is for them to force it into a corner, get the trap, and try and force a turnover.
Jackson comes out of the high post. Hoggett can't get it back to her. Stolen away. Paris tipped. Kelly reeled it in. Kelly to Paris, and now a 3-ball rolls off. Adams there, the offensive rebound. Against Gamble, can't hit the layup. And a defensive board for UNC Wilmington. That was the matchup North Carolina wanted. Unable to cash in.
Goes to the issue that Courtney had in the loss to Indiana. 19 missed layups that she counted. You have to make those ones within a couple feet of the basket.
And a foul off the ball. It's going to go against the Seahawks. Charge to Brittany Range. Wholesale substitutions for North Carolina. 4 of the 5 will exit. Eva Hodgson stays in.
Kelly, the only starter going off the court, so a good job by those bench players giving the starters a spell. Alluded to it a little bit before. That was not something that this Tar Heel team had the option of doing last year. They were, as Courtney puts it, 5.5 players deep. Hodgson, who's now the starting point guard, really the only bench player for you.
Irma Levashute back in for UNC Wilmington as well. They go to Jackson in the post, and she hits the baby hook. Nice game for her so far. 4 points, 7 rebounds. And a foul gives it right back to the Seahawks. That was off the ball. Key tried to set a screen. Did a little too much moving laterally. Maleva Shute, a handoff. Gross now puts it on the floor. Into the corner. Range sails it over. Transition for North Carolina. Ustby out to Hodgson, catching fire, and it skips over. Todd-Williams the rebound, though it's grabbed up. And UNC Wilmington's ball.
Just 3 second chance points in the game for the Tar Heels. 10 offensive rebounds, though. That's a number you know the coaching staff's going to want to see change.
Well, that second chance points in particular, something they only had 7 of at Indiana. Hodgson thought about a take on another 3. Instead, goes to pick and roll. Lost her handle, has to go back out to Key.
Seahawks have done a good job of having busy hands, making it really difficult for Carolina to get into the paint cleanly.
Ustby with the drive, puts it in. Alyssa Ustby, a player that, when we talked to Courtney Banghart earlier in the week, she said, look, Alyssa did not have her best performance at Indiana. Her minutes diminished slightly because of it. And Ustby has bounced back in this one. There she is again, coming away with it. Todd-Williams on the look ahead, too strong on the layup, and she'll go to the free throw line.
I got bailed out on that foul call there on range. We'll see on the replay if there was much contact. I think that's one you got to have, because if you do and you get that foul, now you're looking at a 3-point chance. But to your point about Alyssa Ustby and having her, that arm coming across, good call on the ref. But her having her minutes reduced in that Indiana game because she just didn't play well, and that's going to happen. When we talk about the depth from last year and they just had to stick with whoever they had out on the court, you're not having a good game, somebody behind you is chomping at the bit to get in there, and that's going to fuel everybody on the team. Competition within the team creates better players.
Todd-Williams, 67% on the season prior to that trip, bangs both home. North Carolina with a 12-point lead, which is their largest of the evening. Range around the perimeter. That's McCall King, the freshman, just checked in. And the inlet pass knocked away. Jackson comes up with it and banks it in. 6 points on 3 of 4 from the field for Lexi Jackson now, as North Carolina will try to answer. Key with a pull-up, had all kinds of space, off back iron. And a jump ball.
That's going to stay with Carolina, but that is going to make Tina Martin really happy on the sidelines. When we talked to her about building the program, changing the culture, it was those kinds of plays that she mentioned.
And it was made by a true freshman, McCall King, in her first minutes of action.
You know, I thought it was really interesting when I talked with her. You know, you come in, you're an interim coach, you got to get a team to buy in, right? That's tough in and of itself. But then to have 3 starters go down in the first 2 weeks of the season, now you're dealing with even tougher situation. When you go into games and you have a season where, you know, there aren't a lot of expectations, how do you keep everybody bought in? And she said, we track everything. So that play right there, getting down on the ground, they're going to look at the tape afterwards, and those are the things they're looking and coaching at. Which is a really interesting take from a coach trying to build a program.
Kennedy Todd-Williams called for the foul on the screen there on the North Carolina inbound. Range picked up her dribble too soon. Bailed out by Gross. A drive, kicks out. No window to shoot for King. Underneath. Baseline drive, and it's swatted away by Anya Poole. She led the team in blocks a season ago. Now Key fouled as she goes up, and she'll go to the line.
Good job turning defense into offense for Carolina and getting up court quickly, not allowing the Seahawks to get into a defensive set.
Two shots for Key, too strong on the first.
Now, this is a player who has the potential to be really special when her time is done here. First time playing this year for Carolina, even though she was brought in last season, suffered a knee injury and didn't really realize it until we talked with Courtney. It had been 2 years prior to this season since she had seen the court and played, because the year before she was in high school and lost it to COVID.
Paris with the steal, bumped as she tries the layup, and now she'll get free throws for North Carolina.
Really like the aggressiveness that Carolina has had here the last 10, 11 minutes of the game. Getting into the passing lanes, forcing turnovers, but then immediately attacking, getting out in transition.
Oh, camera person took a bump.
Did a good job keeping his balance.
Paris to the line, rips the bottom of the net with the first. Something that stands out to me, Kyle, as Paris is at the line now, it was Key a moment ago, and you mentioned her first couple of seasons with this program. That's a freshman that just hit that free throw, and then prior to that, a redshirt freshman, respectively.
For as much veteran leadership as there is on this Carolina team, with all 5 starters being at least juniors, they got a lot of youth too that is really talented. Oh, it got a lot better too with another top 5 recruiting class coming in next year, most recently signed.
And a push down below against Asia Henderson. Graduate player, spent 4 years at Wichita State.
Henderson giving Jackson a little bit of a spell here.
And Henderson goes to the free throw line to shoot 2. She's had some success in her career here within the state of North Carolina. A career high 11 points when she was with the Shockers versus East Carolina. It was back on February 1st of 2020. It's 2 back for the Seahawks. Todd-Williams ushers the offense forward.
First time we've seen a zone defense from the Seahawks.
Ustby drives out. Todd-Williams for 3, skips over. Ustby there with an easy board and cleanup for 2.
Problem with the zone is, especially on that weak side, you are wide open for the putback rebound.
A 13-point lead for North Carolina at the break. And we'll go down to Maryland Payne, who's with Courtney Bankhart.
You were audibly frustrated with your defense early.
Cases.
And we are underway here in the 3rd quarter as North Carolina up by 13. Begins with possession underneath. Ustby turns quickly and banks it through.
Alyssa Ustby.
Starters back out for both teams. Brittany Range in just her 2nd game as a point guard in her career. Hands off to Carrie Gross. Now here's Jade Gamble, the sophomore out of nearby Holly Springs. A bounce to the block, and it's long out of the hands of Micah Hoggett.
Ball got on Hoggett's hip and she just kind of had it stuck there, but it was a good job of getting into the paint, forcing the defense to collapse by Gamble.
Kelly Short on the 3, 1 and done for North Carolina. Range goes to Hoggett. Now Carrie Gross tipped away. Ustby, a run up and an easy lay-in for 2 more. 14 points to lead the way for the Heels.
Great job knowing where you are, using that peripheral vision. You saw her look out of the corner of the eye, see where the pass was going, and step in front. And now a mistake by UNCW.
Yeah, some kind of turnover being explained to Micah Hoggett.
The way the referee was motioning, I think she's saying Hoggett had the ball, crossed the baseline, and then maybe went back out of bounds.
Gives it back to North Carolina underneath their own basket. Ustby a catch and fire long 2. Sends it long, and Gamble comes away with the board for UNC Wilmington. Spins away from Kelly. Gross goes underneath. Jackson fouled as she went up and got the roll.
Poole sold out, thought she was going to be able to get out in front of Jackson and take that pass away, and it left it wide open on the backside, and a little bit late coming over on the help defense there from Kennedy Todd-Williams. Good job by Jackson too, realizing the help was coming and not going to the right hand, crossing back to the left.
That's personal foul number 3 on Kennedy Todd-Williams as Jackson attempts to complete the 3-point play. First free throw of the day for her. She buries it, just the 3rd on the day for UNC Wilmington. They're 3 of 3 from the stripe. Kelly bumped as she banks it in, and now her turn.
You can see from the 3 possessions Carolina has had offensively, they are looking to go fast. Get the ball, get up court, get into your offense. Great job of finishing through contact there.
Personal foul goes against Lexi Jackson. And now Deja Kelly, who is just 1 of 4 at the stripe today with only 1. Ricochets off the back of the rim. So a tough night for her so far at the stripe. Brittany Range bounces, looking high post, but it was deflected, and it will stay with the Seahawks. Anya Poole last to touch it. Evan Miller back in for the first time in this second half. Gives Jade Gamble a breather. Miller scoreless in the first half, but a quick trigger on the 3-point shot.
Got to realize where they are in the shot clock.
3 to shoot. Miller bangs it off the backboard, and then it grazes the front of the rim. Rebound and a long pass. Kelly rolls it off the side. Miller the rebound. And a quick possession for North Carolina is fruitless. Gross drives out. Miller's 3. Thuds off. Kelly with a full head of steam in the rebound. Back out. Hodgson fires. It falls. Her first make from deep.
Came in with a reputation of being one of the most efficient 3-point shooters in the country. She's evolved to being a leader on this Carolina team, but don't leave her open.
Coming into today, Eva Hodgson, 47% from 3, a remarkable number. Gross navigating through the lane, floats it through. A look ahead, Kennedy Todd-Williams, an easy layup for North Carolina on the other end.
Tar Heels are just turning this into a track meet, and they are beating UNC Wilmington up and down the court.
They now lead it by 19, largest of the night for the Tar Heels. Gross tried the pick and roll there with Jackson, who takes it off the forehead, and it goes back to North Carolina.
A little miscommunication there. I don't know if Jackson was supposed to roll down towards the baseline a little bit further, or if Gross is supposed to be more into the middle of the floor, but you saw her turn around and make that pass, and they're right on top of each other.
Deja Kelly across the timeline for the Heels. Quickly goes high post. Back out to Kelly, uses a screen. Floats it with her right, while falling away to her left. a timeout as the Seahawks get into the front court. Deja Kelly, the third North Carolina player into double figures. The layup gets her 10, joining Hodgson and Ustby, and North Carolina off to a 21-point lead. /donate. 100% of your donation goes directly to cancer research. 21-point lead for North Carolina, and one that drops in. A nice roll for Lexi Jackson. 2 more points for her. And she's the first Seahawk into double figures, 11 points now. North Carolina goes down to Anya Poole. Wheels around the defender Jackson, but can't hit the layup.
She did a good job when she got that entry pass of securing it, making sure the double team cleared away. But you got to finish once you get down there.
And a foul at the perimeter. Will go against Anya Poole.
Her first team foul number 2.
First for her, second team foul for North Carolina here in the third quarter.
We'll get Malou Shatenge into the game.
Shatenge did not play against Indiana. She's appeared in 4 games now, 5 this season. The longest tenured Tar Heel. And a hip check against Gamble, the ball carrier. Will be the first foul charged to the senior from Germantown, Maryland.
Malou was part of that first class that got to Carolina the same time Courtney Banghart did. Wasn't her first class. She didn't recruit them, but both got here at the same time, though.
Kind of a rarity, no? That a player with a new coach that did not recruit her would stick around for the full tenure.
Yeah, from what I remember, I think there were coach and player interviews, and Courtney gave the players that she thought would fit her mold the opportunity to come back, and Malou was one of the ones that did.
First basket for Michaela Ermaleva-Shute.
Also doesn't hurt that she's got some good lineage. Dikembe Mutombo is her uncle.
Yeah, that's pretty good bloodlines there. Todd-Williams puts it off the rim. Lexi Jackson, another rebound. That's her 8th with 11 points. She's officially on double-double watch. Miller zips it down low. And that rattles through for Jade Gamble. Third make from the field. She's got 6 points. Deja Kelly thought about the 3 against Evan Miller. Gets to the elbow. Puts it off back of the rim. Gets her own rebound. Foot on the line, Todd-Williams puts it through. Jackson now at the top of the circle. Quickly gives to Gamble. Ermaleva-Shute underneath. Jackson, baseline. Thought about a jumper. Out. Evan Miller splits defenders and can't hit the floater. A look ahead for Ustby. Zips it out. Hodgson's 3 is in.
You may be thinking to yourself, you just passed open a wide open layup for a 3, but when it's Ava Hodgson shooting the 3, it might as well be a layup.
She's 2 for 4 today, nearing 50% for the season from 3-point range. UNC Wilmington again looking for Jackson underneath. Gamble falling away. Wow, high glass against Alyssa Ustby.
Use your quickness, get some separation in order to beat the bigger player.
Backdoor cut, Todd-Williams tried it and can't make. The follow not there either.
That was a really nice look from Callie. Tough layup to try to make if you're Kennedy Todd-Williams.
18-point game. Little dummy screen for Jackson. Catches. Kicks out to the corner. Ermaleva-Shute can't hit the 3, but the follow is there for Miller. And a timeout called on the floor. Interim head coach Tina Martin is fired up for the Seahawks as they head to the huddle. But it's a 16-point lead for North Carolina. Alyssa Ustby here, out to Eva Hodgson for her second three. Their belt.
You don't know what's going to happen after a season with the transfer portal, but you look at that breakdown. You have 3 grad players. They're not going to be on the roster, but everybody else will be back. So when she talked to us about building this team and building the foundation for the culture of this program, this is the group that she's talking about doing it with.
Marilyn Payne's got more on the development of this UNCW squad.
Tina Martin said at halftime that she was actually surprised her team was doing as well as they were, and she said that the piece that she was most pleased with was how well they understood the offense, even with so many changes in their personnel. And just she was beaming with pride. She was exasperated, and she wanted to talk about the details of the game, but she is very pleased with this program because of the way that they are embodying the 3 things she wants to see, which is limiting turnovers, getting good shots, and chasing down those 50-50 and loose balls.
Thanks, Marilyn. Tina Martin, a blast to talk with earlier in the week, too. I mean, she's a very passionate head coach. She's been doing it a while. Thrilled to have this opportunity at the helm with UNCW.
And, you know, we've talked with a lot of coaches over a lot of different sports. And they're people. They got different personalities. Some of them like to talk more than others do. I would definitely put Tina in the we'll talk your head off, but in our industry, that's a fantastic thing. It's how you find out about programs and you get stories.
Turnover for UNC Wilmington is a foul against Lexi Jackson.
Speaking of stories, number 11 for North Carolina, Ariel Young out there for the first time, not just this year, but in 2 seasons. Had her ACL torn last year before the year got going.
Yeah, redshirt senior out of Tallahassee.
She's
been a long time since she's played.
She's actually Courtney Banghart's first recruit. It was a transfer. She started at Michigan, and she recruited her to transfer to Carolina. Very first recruit, finally getting back out there.
Destiny Adams, a pump fake on the 3. Tried block to block. 3 seconds to shoot. Here's Young. Too strong, but a chance for North Carolina. They can't squeeze the offensive rebound.
You see the reaction from the Carolina bench. They really wanted to see that one go down for Ariel. You have a knee injury right before a season happens, and because of the loss of that year, it just makes it that much longer of a journey to finally get back.
Seahawks will continue to prioritize Jackson underneath. The turnaround goes off the side. Alyssa Ustby after the defensive rebound. Adams back to Paris. That was number 10 for Ustby, by the way.
She's the only current starter out there for the Tar Heels.
And she's got a double-double, 14 points, 10 rebounds. Under 10 to shoot. Paris commits the offensive foul.
Really good job by Gamble of staying in front of Paris. That's something that as a freshman, you think you've got the step, get to the basket. See the hips of Gamble, though, staying in front of her. Kick that ball over to the corner to Young.
Closing seconds of this third quarter. It goes back to the Seahawks. Some light pressure from North Carolina here. A heave. Not quite online. And it remains a 16-point game. North Carolina up as we conclude the third.
We love our new home.
There's so much space.
But we have
in Charlotte, part of the Jumpman Invitational, will be another top 25 matchup and a big test before you start ACC play. Kind of crazy to look at, but about a third of the way through the schedule, conference play around the corner.
Pass picked off, Destiny Adams. Misses the layup, it's batted into the air and rebounded. It goes back to UNC Wilmington, and then Adams puts it off of the Seahawks player, Brittany Range.
I love to see her ability to get into the passing lane, jump that pass, then bring the ball up court and stick with it even after missing the layup. The only thing I would have changed is dump that ball off to Paris for the layup. The defender was on you. She had an open lane to the basket.
Ustby, quick trigger on the mid-range jumper. She's up to 16 points on 8 of 10 shooting. Range across for the Seahawks. Got a switch. Adams pokes it away. Can't come away with the steal that time. Commits the personal foul, but that's an area where she has really impacted this North Carolina team.
She's so athletic that even though she's one of the bigger players that are out on the court height-wise, she can get out there, and that length gives her a little bit extra on defense that I think most perimeter players aren't used to.
Team leader in both
today.
Steals and blocks. You're right at her per game average with steals.
It's a player that Courtney really raved about. And you know, we talked earlier about Paulina Paris, the true freshman, being out there and being very even-keeled. Not getting too high, not getting too low confidence-wise. It was the opposite with Adams, and everybody is different. You got to remember their kids coming in. And Courtney said there were times last year where, you know, the confidence took a hit and she didn't believe in herself the way that Courtney did. And she said once she saw herself through Courtney's eyes, things were going to change. And that happened this offseason, and you're seeing the results now out on the court.
You give and take what a player like Adams in her aggressiveness will give you. She commits the foul, over aggressive on the block out.
Exactly. Just got to find that happy medium, that's all.
Gamble a step back, and it rolls through.
Double digits for her.
Nice performance with a lot of family in attendance from nearby Holly Springs.
She's done it very efficiently, too. 5 of 7 shooting, 3 rebounds, 3 assists.
Ariel Young, another attempt, sails it over. And Adams leapt from across the line. Ustby and Chitinge get a breather for North Carolina. Tiani Key back in, as well as Paulina Paris. Adams got a paw on that one, almost coming away with another steal. It's good hands by Tiani Key, and a timeout call coming from Tina Martin in the UNCW bench. Evading some trouble, but a big lead for North Carolina here in the fourth quarter.
With the award-winning Geico mobile app,
North Carolina, the 8th-ranked team in the country in a stacked Atlantic Coast Conference, tied for 8th. Oddly, I don't know how that happens with NC State. Some bad blood, of course, between those two programs, but they got company. Notre Dame and Virginia Tech, very good as well. You see there, the Cardinals of Louisville have dropped out.
It's going to be a gauntlet again if you're in the ACC with 4 top 10 teams. And as far as tied for 8th, NC State and Carolina have a couple of meetings on the hardwood to decide that.
They'll be able to settle that pretty quickly. Look at some of the games on the ESPN family of networks featuring some of these great women's basketball teams in the Atlantic Coast Conference. Tar Heels force a shot clock violation, get possession back. Closing this one out against in-state UNC Wilmington.
The 5 on the court right now for Carolina, the biggest 5 I have seen Courtney Banghart play. Zelaya 6'4", Young 6'1", Key 6'4", Adams 6'3", and then you've got the point guard Paris out there. You see Courtney play a lot of small lineups, but given a different look here.
Miller has it for UNCW. Now range, working off of a high screen. Range, cutting back door. Can't bank it in off the block. It's tipped out, last touched by North Carolina. Well, Coach Banghart told us coming into this one that it's one of those games where, especially given the disparity between these two programs and where they are. Wow, what a block for Tiani Key. Numbers for North Carolina, but Kyle, we were told that Coach Banghart might experiment with some things, right? Work on some things that they hadn't had a chance to so far this season. They've had limited numbers in terms of practicing all the time as well. So she's just trying to get the preparation in wherever she can.
Listen, if you've got a 10 or lower next to your name, you're looking at the big picture. We want to be in the Final Four at the end of the year. You got to find ways to work on different things, and you can't simulate a game in practice. So sometimes you got to just go out there and try it in a game so that you can go look at the film afterwards and correct what needs to be.
Range driving, off back iron, offensive rebound, and a second chance for UNCW. Gamble, a bounce underneath, and Evan Miller can't squeeze the pass. It'll stay with UNCW.
Somebody kicked it, but that was a great backdoor cut, though. Nice round of applause for Young as she checks out.
First minutes for her in well over a year. Jump pass, Miller has it rejected. A block for Destiny Adams at the perimeter, and it forces the shot clock.
Courtney Banghart wasn't happy with some of the way the defensive rotations were going in the first quarter. She's really going to be happy with this one, though. Great communication, because Adams started down on the block, but was out there as that ball got around, and with the shot clock going down, you have no chance. You just have to put up the shot if you're Miller.
Her second block, or maybe her third. Did she get two for that? She got two hands on it.
Two hands?
Down underneath, Tiani Key, covered up by Lexi Jackson. Well, between UNCW's Jackson and Destiny Adams for North Carolina, all kinds of defensive prowess on display.
Jackson's actually got 5 blocks in the game, a couple of them for Adams.
Marilyn Payne's got something on this UNCW team's, or the UNC team's depth, rather. Marilyn?
Courtney Banghart emphasized that this was a game where she would build depth, but one of the questions she didn't have an outright answer for was how many minutes Deja Kelly and Kennedy Todd-Williams would each play. They both averaged more than 30. She said that's in order to get them in shape by February for ACC play, so she wants to up their minutes consistently against really tough opponents. They both topped out at around 20 minutes today. That's the sweet spot, although she didn't set that out coming into today.
Thanks, Marilyn. Good stuff. Dribble off of the foot, gives it back to North Carolina. Both of these teams, Kyle, in pretty severe scoring droughts. We've been at 55-39 for 3.5 minutes now.
Yeah, over 4 minutes for Carolina and a little over 3 for UNCW. I think both teams have played really good defense, which is part of the drought, but you're also seeing maybe some fatigue from the UNCW side, and with Carolina, all 5 of those players bench players, so people that are getting a little bit more run, haven't played together, don't quite have that fluidity that you're used to with starters.
Micah Hoggett, the personal foul for UNC Wilmington. It's her third. And Alexandra Zelaya goes to the free throw line for the first time today. That one shakes through and is her first free throw made on the season. She's now 1 of 3. Make it 2 of 4. Breaks a 4+ minute scoring drought for the Tar Heels. Gross leaning back, can't hit, offensive rebound, and the putback is there for Hoggett. Todd-Williams drives, nowhere to go, but bailed out by a foul.
That's good help defense from Jackson. Came over, and Todd-Williams, if that foul doesn't happen, is caught in the air with the ball and nowhere to go with it. I think it was a late reach in that they got Gross on. Yeah, that right arm coming through.
with the Tar Heels. Todd-Williams, elbow to elbow, and whistles.
There's a horn that went as they started play. I think that's why they're going to just reset things. No, they called a foul underneath the basket.
Team foul number 2.
That goes against Gross. 2 quick fouls for her.
I think they're making sure that any time that ran off gets put back on the clock. Just 1 second, I believe, is at 4:17.
Yeah, so all right. Reset to 4:17, and we'll re-rack what we had just a moment ago. Zelaya and Todd-Williams changed places, though. Paris drives, had it knocked off of her own knee.
Really good defense from Gamble there. Paris, as she came around that little hesitation there, she came around the screen. That's what she needs to eliminate. Come around that screen hard to cut your defender off.
Goes back to the Seahawks, who understandably been a little clunky offensively, Kyle. As there's another steal for Destiny Adams. North Carolina doesn't have numbers, and Adams is fouled. Can't hit, she'll go to the line. But I was going to say, UNC Wilmington, Kyle, to hold North Carolina to this 57 points with, what, 3:42 to go. Scoreless, or field goal-less, rather, in their last 5:46. It's quite the effort for the plucky Seahawks.
And I think when you're building a program in the situation that the Seahawks are in, effort is the biggest thing you're looking for every single game. Are you giving me 100% from the opening whistle until the closing whistle? And with 3:42 left, I think Tina Martin can answer that as a yes so far.
0 for 2 on the trip for Destiny Adams. It's one thing, a bit of a bugaboo for her, the free throw shooting, not quite 40% entering today. Those 2 misses put her at about 33%, and another steal. She's fouled and doesn't get a chance at a layup on the other end, though. Again, you'll take the good with the bad.
Absolutely. The aggressiveness there to jump that right there. If you're going to hand that ball off, you literally have to hand it off.
Foul charged to Gross. That's 3 consecutive fouls for her. Into Adams in the post. Whips it from block to block, and a double dribble turns it over. That was the 4th steal for Destiny Adams prior to that possession there. Gamble lost her footing, tried to save it and get it to a teammate, Gross, and now she's favoring her ankle. That's not a good sign.
With the injuries we've talked about, it's the last thing that UNCW wants to see is anybody come up with an injury. Their SID,
athletic trainer Colleen McConey checking up on her.
Their SID had come up before the game just to check in, make sure we needed anything. And we talked about the last game they played against Virginia, lost by over 40. But he said afterwards, we kind of high-fived each other. Hey, there were no injuries. We can keep going forward. So you hope that for Gross, that it's not something that will keep her, for Gamble, not something that will keep her out for too long here. You just saw the roll on that ankle.
Left ankle rolled over on her as she was trying to plant her feet, make a pass.
You ever had that happen to you? It feels like you just snapped your leg in half at the moment. It will go away. You have to get some treatment. But in that moment, you think, oh my goodness, is my foot even attached anymore?
And one, Destiny Adams. Have a night. Just her second basket.
She's done everything else. Why not get on the offensive side of things now? Through the contact, too. That's what I like the most about that.
Third personal on Lexi Jackson of UNC Wilmington, and there you go. Gets 3 the hard way. Does Destiny Adams up to 5 points to go with her 3 rebounds, 3 assists.
4 steals, 2 blocks, just a little bit of everything today.
North Carolina by 19. Jackson out of the high post. Miller, a bounce down low. Gross cutting baseline, can't connect. The follow not there for Jackson either. Todd-Williams mid-range. Skips off the side, and it's tipped out via Adams. Goes back to UNC Wilmington. The lead has been as great as 21. Gross, a pro hop, and fouled as she got both feet on the ground. It's charged to Anya Poole, and look at this, Deja Kelly, Eva Hodgson coming back in for the final, not quite 2 minutes.
This is, I think, where Marilyn was talking earlier about not having enough practice time. You've got to get players in game shape. They'll run some sprints for 1 minute and 52 seconds.
Both Kelly and Hodgson played all 40 minutes at Indiana. And Bankhart told us earlier this week, yeah, that's partially because you want to try your best to get a victory, and they're your 2 best players, but at the same time, they're trying to condition those 2 to go the distance for games.
Especially with those 2, you get into postseason tight matchup, you want your best ball handlers on the court, and those are 1 and 2.
Best distributors, both Hodgson and Kelly, 4+ assists per game entering tonight.
Stats aren't going to show you, but I would still pick them 1 and 2 even as shooters on the team as well.
Yeah, you alluded earlier to Deja Kelly's early season struggles from the field. Destiny Adams makes good on the first of 2 free throws. Another one in, 7 points now. Another tap away for Adams. This time she's whistled for the foul. Third personal for her. I think as we near the end for this one, Kyle, Tina Martin's got to be thrilled with the effort from her Seahawks team, especially given all the circumstances surrounding this squad. Not a bad day.
No, I mean, she said it. A little surprised at how well they had played at halftime, and I don't think they've really dropped off in the second half, especially if you're just talking about the effort they've put forward. She talks so much to us about offense and trying to get answers offensively, especially with somebody at the point guard position that had never played it prior to a game ago. 42 points on 38% shooting. I think she's going to be pretty happy with that one.
Missed shot in deep for North Carolina. Seahawks with it, 40 seconds to play. More tapping it around in the post. UNC Wilmington, no field goals in their last 4 minutes of game time. So the Defense has really ratcheted up for North Carolina. But the Seahawks have had defensive spells like that too.
They have. There's a lot that I think UNCW is going to take away from this game as positives. When they go back and they track all of those stats and all of those plays that they're keeping track of, who's hustling, getting on the floor, getting an open look, there's going to be more positives than negatives from this one. Ultimately, though, if you're Carolina, you got the win. You got to be happy.
Anya Poole flies in for the rebound and the cleanup. And at 22 points, the lead, the largest it's been all night for North Carolina with under 10 seconds. Seahawks dribble it out. Jackson, a half-hearted attempt from the elbow. And we go final, a 22-point victory for North Carolina. We said it, Kyle, an impressive effort for the Seahawks. For North Carolina, clunky at points, but mission accomplished. You get the win. You accomplish some things that, if you're Courtney Banghart and staff, you wanted to see.
Yeah, I think it's a rarity where you have a team